Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 very dope cadences that you can add to your arsenal to add more variety and flavor to your rap flow. Each of these are going to incorporate 30-second notes, which is going to give them a lot of snap and aggression. Also, each of them is going to be using triplet eighth notes, which is going to give it some of that dope modern trap rap type of sound. And I'm also really excited to announce that in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be releasing a game-changing rap course that's going to take your rap flow to a whole nother level. So stay tuned and watch out for that. And if you're watching this in the future, I'll be sure to post a link to it in the video description below. And for all of today's demonstrations, I'm going to be using an instrumental that I produced called Midnight Drive. So if you like this instrumental, I will post a link to it as well in the video description below. Now let's get straight to it. Now for each of these cadences, I'm going to give you 2 variations of each. And this is going to be to demonstrate how you can take quite literally any cadence and build upon it and create more energy and movement. And that's why I say you should never box yourself 100% into a cadence, especially if it's not working well with your lyrics, because there's so many different ways that you can tweak and change a cadence and it still feel and sound the same. For our first cadence, I'm using 30-second notes next to pauses and eighth notes to create a sense of tension. The 30-second notes are very aggressive, but they don't last for long, which creates these short bursts of energy which quickly dissipates. And the second half of this cadence is primarily filled in with triplet eighth notes. These are aggressive sounding, which provide a sense of relief or resolve to the tension that I created on the first half of this bar. And I decided to allow these triplets to spill over into the beginning of the next bar, and I kept my eighth notes in the same place as the previous bar on the second and third beat. Also notice how my notes on the third and fourth beats are exactly the same. This is my anchor point, which gives the 2 different cadences their repetition or connection to each other. Tip it pa, peep it the rip it the beat it, tip it to bump it the pole, tip it the cold, tip it the rip it the beat it. For my second cadence, I'm using a similar method to create tension as before, with the 30-second notes followed by eighth notes, but I executed it slightly different to add even more tension. Instead of placing my eighth notes directly on the second and third beats, I shifted them over to begin on the 16th note before the beats. This gave them an early swing type of feel, which makes them feel rushed and anxious. And again, on the second half of the bar is where I resolve the tension by extending my last eighth note 1/16th note longer, and then I fill the remainder of the fourth beat in with triplet eighth notes. And on the second bar, I copied the same exact pattern but filled in the second half of the third beat with triplet eighth notes and the entire fourth beat with triplet eighth notes. This allowed my second bar to feel just a little more aggressive, which gave these 2 bars some movement. Put a rise to the miles, to the kais, the liminal. Put a pose to the rolls, tip it to rip it to kimono. Now things get really aggressive on my third cadence. I filled in the entire first beat with triplet eighth notes followed by a 16th note on the second beat. I placed a pause afterwards to allow the cadence to breathe for just a moment before turning up the aggression a little more by placing 2 30-second notes leading into the third beat, which I then repeated the same pattern on beats 3 and 4 as I did on beats 1 and 2. The only difference is I decided to place a 16th note at the end of beat 4 instead of 2 30-second notes like I did on the end of beat 2. I did this because I wanted to provide just a little relief and rest at the end of this bar before I turn up the energy even more on the next bar. And on the next bar, it's primarily triplet eighth notes, and I added an additional pair of 30-second notes. Also, I used my orange 16th notes to create little pockets of rest/relief on the second, third, and fourth beat in a similar fashion that I used the eighth notes from my first cadence. Blapping the eep in your flow, but it capping the reap in your foe. I'm blapping the eep in your pad, but I keep in your pad, but I reap in your foe. As you can see, a big part of mastering your rap flow is learning how to control the energy of your cadences and knowing how to create tension as well as relief, and learning how to create both an escalation and a de-escalation of energy. And without these movements, your rap flow would just sound flat. And you can create movement really fast with your cadences. So like in all of today's examples, I created movement within every single bar. The first half of each bar was less energy than the second half of each bar. Also, the second bar of each cadence had overall more energy than the first bar of each cadence. But you don't always have to build energy this fast. You could do this throughout 4 bars, 8 bars, 12, 16 bars, however long you want. That's all up to you. And it also doesn't mean that there's a time where you want your stuff to be a little bit more repetitive and flat. But just understand the science behind this so that everything that you're doing with your rap flow is intentional. And you don't always have to go from low energy to high energy. You could start with high energy and then tear it down gradually over time and to lower energy. Again, it's entirely up to you how you want to implement these techniques. My name is ColeMize with ColeMizeStudios.com, where I strive to make you a better rapper now. And if you're trying to perfect your rap skills, make sure that you get yourself a free copy of my ebook, The #1 Fundamental to Rapping, via the link in the video description below. I've also included links to my one-on-one coaching service and my quick start guides that will help you grow your fan base, improve your songwriting and wordplay skills. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for more straight to the point, no BS, how to rap video tutorials just like this one. And always remember, when it comes to rapping, there's no rules, there's only techniques. Peace. Hey man, you see that subscribe button right there? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, and don't forget the bell icon. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Hey, I know you see that like button, right? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. And look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, today I'm gonna kill it, kill it.